You want to understand how to be happy alone. It sounds simple enough, right? We've all been told that we need other people to find joy. Society, family, and friends have told us that we need relationships, a partner, or external validation to experience fulfillment. But let's face it, that's not always the truth. You can find happiness in your own company. And I'm not talking about just filling up your time or distracting yourself until someone else comes into your life. I'm talking about truly embracing the solitude, learning to be at peace with yourself, and realizing that the happiness you're looking for has always been inside of you. First, you need to change how you think about solitude. For too long, society has painted loneliness as something negative, a state that you need to escape from. But let me tell you something, being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. Loneliness is a mindset. It's something we've been conditioned to fear. But what if you could flip that? What if you could look at being alone as an opportunity to discover who you really are, an opportunity to focus on yourself without distractions? Being alone means freedom. It means you don't have to answer to anyone. You don't have to worry about what others think of you or what they want from you. You can spend your time however you choose, and you don't need to apologize for it. It's yours. When you're alone, the world is your canvas. You get to create the masterpiece that is your life. And you don't need anyone else to validate that. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need anyone else's approval to be happy. Now, some people might say, that sounds good in theory, but what about the days when you feel sad? Or the moments when you start doubting yourself? And I get it. It's easy to feel like you're not enough when you're alone. Those feelings are natural, they're human. But here's the thing, your worth isn't determined by whether or not you have someone else around you. Your worth is intrinsic, something that exists whether or not you're surrounded by people. It doesn't fluctuate based on external circumstances. When you're alone, you have the chance to look inward, to reflect on your life and your values, and to understand what makes you tick. You can take the time to heal past wounds, to forgive yourself for mistakes, and to grow from your experiences. In the absence of others, you can become your own best friend. You can be the one who comforts you when times are tough, the one who pushes you to be better, and the one who recognizes your worth. You are your own greatest asset. But let's be clear. Being happy alone isn't about isolation. It's about self-sufficiency. It's about knowing that you don't need to rely on others to make you feel complete. You are whole as you are. It's not about building walls around yourself and shutting everyone out. It's about building a foundation within yourself that no one can take away. When you are strong within, you don't need others to validate your existence. You already know your value. There's also a misconception that happiness comes from external circumstances. We often look for happiness in things like a new job, a relationship, or a new car. We think that once we achieve a certain milestone, we'll finally be happy. But that's not how it works. Happiness isn't something you can find outside of yourself. It comes from within. And the more you learn to be happy on your own, the less dependent you become on these external factors. You start to realize that true contentment is something that has to be cultivated from the inside out. The key to being happy alone is understanding that you have the power to choose how you respond to your circumstances. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can control how you react. When you learn to choose positivity, when you choose gratitude over bitterness, when you choose to see the silver lining even in difficult times, that's when you start to see how much power you truly have. And this power isn't dependent on whether or not you have someone else around you. It's all yours. Another important aspect of being happy alone is learning to love yourself. I know it sounds like a cliche, but hear me out. You can't expect anyone else to love you if you don't love yourself first. And I'm not talking about arrogance or vanity. I'm talking about true self-love. The kind of love that accepts your flaws, your imperfections, and still sees the beauty in who you are. You can't wait for someone else to come into your life and fix you or fill a void. That void can only be filled by you. You have to be the one who nurtures and cares for yourself, who treats yourself with the respect you deserve. This is where self-care comes in. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths or getting a massage, though those things are nice too. It's about taking care of your mental and emotional well-being. It's about setting boundaries, saying no when you need to, and protecting your peace. It's about learning to say yes to the things that nourish your soul and no to the things that drain you. Self-care is about honoring your needs, your desires, and your values. It's about showing up for yourself every day, even when no one else is watching. When you take care of yourself in this way, you build a deep sense of fulfillment and contentment. You start to realize that you don't need anyone else to complete you. You're already whole. And let me tell you something, happiness alone doesn't mean being happy all the time. You're going to have bad days, you're going to have moments of doubt, frustration, and sadness, and that's okay. Being human means experiencing the full range of emotions. But happiness, true happiness, is the ability to find peace within yourself even during those tough times. It's about recognizing that you don't have to be happy all the time to still be okay. It's about giving yourself permission to feel what you're feeling without judgment. It's about knowing that you can handle whatever life throws your way because you've learned to rely on yourself. When you're alone, you have the opportunity to explore your passions, your hobbies, and your interests. You can dive into the things that bring you joy without worrying about anyone else's preferences or opinions. You have the freedom to create your own path, to take risks, and to explore new possibilities. When you don't have to live up to anyone else's expectations, you get to discover who you truly are. And when you find something that lights you up, something that makes you feel alive, that's where the magic happens. That's where you find the happiness that doesn't depend on anyone else. It's also important to recognize that you don't need to have it all figured out. Life isn't about having a perfect plan or a clear roadmap. It's about embracing the journey. It's about being open to new experiences, learning along the way, and growing into the person you were always meant to be. You don't need to have everything figured out today. You don't need to know where you'll be in 5 years. You don't need to rush the process. The beauty of being alone is that you have the space and time to explore, to make mistakes, and to learn. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about becoming the best version of yourself one step at a time. At the end of the day, the key to being happy alone is embracing your own company. It's about learning to be okay with being alone and finding joy in the simple moments of life. It's about understanding that happiness is not something you have to chase, it's something that's already within you. You just need to stop looking outside of yourself for it. When you learn to be happy alone, you become invincible. You become unshakable. Because when you know who you are, when you know your worth, and when you're at peace with yourself, there's nothing anyone can do to take that away from you. So start today. Take the time to reconnect with yourself. Spend time doing the things that bring you joy, that make you feel alive. Don't wait for someone else to come along and make you happy. You are more than enough on your own. Learn to love yourself, to trust yourself, and to believe in your own abilities. When you do that, everything else will fall into place. You won't just survive being alone, you'll thrive in it. And when you thrive in your own company, that's when you realize that happiness has been inside of you all along. Happiness does not depend on others, it comes from within. By learning to embrace solitude and focusing on self-growth, we become our own source of joy and strength. Being alone offers the opportunity to build inner resilience and understand that we are whole with or without external validation. True happiness begins with loving yourself unconditionally. Embracing your flaws and imperfections and treating yourself with the respect you deserve forms the foundation for lasting happiness. When you care for your emotional and mental well-being, you build a fulfilling life on your own terms. Being alone provides the space to explore passions, interests, and personal growth without distractions. It allows you to follow your own path, take risks, and discover what truly brings you joy. Happiness is found in the process of discovering who you are and becoming the best version of yourself. Happiness is not about being cheerful all the time, but about having the strength to navigate life's ups and downs. By learning to manage emotions, accepting imperfections, and focusing on progress, we build a sense of peace and contentment that remains steady, regardless of external circumstances. In a world where we are often encouraged to look to others for validation and fulfillment, self-sufficiency and inner strength are qualities that are often overlooked or undervalued. But the truth is, these are the very foundations upon which lasting happiness and personal fulfillment are built. When we talk about self-sufficiency, we're not simply talking about the ability to take care of ourselves physically. We're talking about the ability to find contentment, peace, and joy from within without relying on external circumstances or other people to define our happiness. Inner strength, on the other hand, is the ability to stay grounded in who you are, even when the world around you is chaotic, challenging, or uncertain. Together, self-sufficiency and inner strength form a powerful foundation for building a life of stability, resilience, and lasting happiness. Self-sufficiency isn't about pushing people away or trying to isolate yourself from the world. It's about understanding that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else. You don't need others to complete you, validate your worth, or fill the spaces in your life that feel empty. For too long, many of us have been taught that happiness is something that can only be found outside of ourselves. We look for it in relationships, material possessions, career achievements, or in the approval of others. And while these things can bring temporary joy, they don't provide the deep, lasting fulfillment that comes from learning to be happy on your own. True self-sufficiency begins when you recognize that you are the source of your own happiness, and that nothing or no one can take that away from you. The first step towards becoming self-sufficient is to change how you view your own worth. Many of us are taught to derive our self-worth from external factors: how much money we make, how successful our careers are, how attractive we appear, or how much praise we receive from others. While these things can certainly add value to our lives, they are not the true measure of our worth. Our worth is inherent. It's part of who we are. It doesn't fluctuate based on the opinions of others or the circumstances in our lives. Learning to value yourself for who you are, not for what you have or what you've accomplished, is a crucial step in becoming self-sufficient. Self-sufficiency also involves taking responsibility for your own happiness. This means not waiting for someone else to come into your life and save you or to make you feel better when things are tough. It's about learning how to cope with life's challenges and setbacks on your own. Of course, it's natural to want support from others during difficult times, and it's okay to lean on friends or family when needed. But ultimately, the ability to bounce back, to pick yourself up after a fall, and to keep going even when life isn't easy is a skill that you can develop within yourself. The more you rely on your own inner resources, the more you strengthen your resilience and your capacity to handle whatever life throws your way. Inner strength is what allows you to maintain your sense of self in the face of adversity. It's about staying grounded in your values, your beliefs, and your goals, no matter how difficult or uncertain the circumstances around you may be. Life can be unpredictable, and we all go through tough times. We face challenges in our relationships, in our careers, in our health, and in our personal lives. There will be moments when you feel as though you are at your lowest point, when it seems like nothing is going right, and when you question whether you have the strength to continue. But inner strength is what allows you to dig deep and find the courage to keep going, even when everything else seems to be falling apart. One of the key components of inner strength is emotional resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and how you respond to those challenges plays a big role in how strong you feel inside. Emotional resilience is the ability to face difficulties head-on, to experience pain or discomfort without being overwhelmed by it, and to bounce back from setbacks. It's about accepting that negative emotions are a natural part of life, and that it's okay to feel sad, frustrated, or disappointed at times. But inner strength is what helps you rise above those emotions, to not let them control your actions or define your sense of self. When you are emotionally resilient, you can face life's challenges with a sense of equanimity, knowing that no matter how tough things get, you have the strength within you to get through it. One of the most important aspects of self-sufficiency and inner strength is the ability to set healthy boundaries. When you are self-sufficient, you know what you need, what your limits are, and you're able to communicate those needs to others. Setting boundaries is about knowing when to say no, when to prioritize yourself, and when to protect your time, energy, and well-being. It's about not allowing others to drain you or take advantage of your kindness. When you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you, and you show yourself the respect you deserve. People who are self-sufficient understand that they are responsible for maintaining their own well-being, and that means saying no when necessary, protecting their time, and ensuring that they are not overextending themselves in relationships or situations that drain them. Self-sufficiency also involves developing a deep sense of trust in yourself. This means trusting your instincts, your decisions, and your ability to handle challenges that come your way. When you trust yourself, you don't rely on others for validation or approval. You don't second-guess your choices or constantly seek reassurance from others. Trusting yourself means having confidence in your ability to make decisions, to solve problems, and to take action when necessary. This trust in yourself is what gives you the courage to pursue your goals, to take risks, and to follow your own path, even when it's not the popular or easy choice. The journey to self-sufficiency and inner strength isn't always easy. It takes time, effort, and self-reflection to learn how to rely on yourself and develop the emotional and mental resilience needed to navigate life's challenges. But it's a journey worth taking. The more you invest in building your inner strength, the more confident and empowered you become. You begin to realize that you don't need anyone or anything outside of yourself to be happy or fulfilled. You are enough just as you are, and you have the strength to face whatever comes your way. One of the most profound aspects of self-sufficiency and inner strength is the realization that you can create your own happiness. You are the architect of your own life, and the power to shape your future lies within you. This doesn't mean that life will always be perfect or that you will never face difficult times. But it means that you have the power to choose how you respond to those challenges, to decide how much of your happiness you allow to be affected by external circumstances. When you rely on your own inner resources, you can find contentment and peace no matter what happens in the world around you. Self-sufficiency and inner strength also allow you to develop a deep sense of self-awareness. When you are self-sufficient, you spend time getting to know yourself, your desires, your values, your fears, and your dreams. You learn what truly makes you happy, what brings you peace, and what is worth your energy and attention. This self-awareness helps you make better decisions in your life, because you're not simply reacting to external circumstances or seeking approval from others. You're living according to your own values and priorities, and you're able to create a life that is authentic and meaningful to you. Building self-sufficiency and inner strength doesn't mean that you have to cut yourself off from others or reject relationships. In fact, the stronger you become within yourself, the more you're able to give to others in healthy, positive ways. When you are self-sufficient, you don't depend on others to fill the gaps in your life, but you are able to offer love, support, and connection from a place of wholeness. You are able to build relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than seeking validation or completion. The relationships you have are enriched because they are not based on neediness, but on genuine connection and shared experiences. In conclusion, self-sufficiency and inner strength are not just about being able to handle life's challenges on your own. They are about recognizing that you have the power within you to create your own happiness, to shape your own destiny, and to live a life that is authentic and fulfilling. When you cultivate these qualities, you become unshakable, knowing that no matter what life throws your way, you have the strength and resilience to rise above it. You learn to trust yourself, value yourself, and rely on your own resources to navigate life. The journey to self-sufficiency and inner strength may take time, but it's a journey worth embarking on, because when you learn to be happy and fulfilled on your own, you realize that the power to create the life you want has always been inside of you. Self-love and acceptance are concepts that are often discussed in personal development, yet they remain difficult for many people to fully understand and embrace. These two elements form the foundation of a fulfilling, happy life, but they are often overshadowed by society's emphasis on external validation and comparison. To love oneself and accept oneself is not an act of arrogance or narcissism, but rather a deep recognition of one's worth, imperfections, and uniqueness. It's a journey of inner healing, understanding, and self-respect that can lead to profound emotional and psychological well-being. The first and most important step in cultivating self-love is the realization that your worth is intrinsic and not contingent on external achievements, others' approval, or any temporary state of being. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to seek validation from the world around us. We are taught to base our sense of self-worth on the opinions of others, whether it's a parent, a friend, a teacher, or a partner. We measure our value by our grades, our career success, our physical appearance, and even the relationships we maintain. When we find validation in these external sources, it can feel good in the moment, but it is often fleeting. We may begin to base our happiness on how others perceive us rather than on how we see ourselves. True self-love begins when we stop seeking validation from outside sources. It involves recognizing that our worth is inherent, not something to be earned or validated by others. We are enough just as we are, in our entirety, without needing to prove anything. Self-love requires a shift in mindset from looking for approval externally to finding approval internally. It's about understanding that our value is not determined by our accomplishments or by how others see us, but by our mere existence. One of the primary obstacles to self-love is the constant pressure to conform to societal ideals. We live in a world where perfection is marketed as the goal: perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect relationships. This message is everywhere in the media, on social media, in advertisements, and even in our personal lives. We are bombarded with images of what we are supposed to be, and as a result, many people fall into the trap of believing they are not enough if they don't measure up to these standards. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and a sense of never being good enough. Self-love challenges these notions. It requires us to let go of the idea that we need to fit into some idealized mold in order to be worthy. Instead, we must learn to appreciate and accept our individuality, recognizing that our uniqueness is what makes us beautiful and valuable. We are not meant to look like everyone else, to have the same achievements or experiences, or to follow the same path. Each person's journey is different, and that is part of the beauty of life. Accepting this truth is a key component of self-love. It means acknowledging that we don't have to be perfect, and that we don't have to live up to anyone else's standards to be deserving of love and respect. One of the most important aspects of self-love is self-compassion. Self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially during times of failure or when you make mistakes. Often we are our own harshest critics. We may hold ourselves to impossible standards and berate ourselves when we fall short. But self-love requires us to be gentle with ourselves, to recognize that we are human, and that mistakes are part of the process. When we approach ourselves with the same compassion that we would show a friend, we create a nurturing environment where healing can take place. Self-compassion also involves letting go of self-judgment. Too many people carry around heavy burdens of guilt, shame, or regret over past mistakes, thinking that these feelings define who they are. Self-love, however, teaches us that our mistakes do not define us. They are simply part of our growth and learning. We are allowed to make mistakes and to fail, but we must also allow ourselves the grace to forgive. Self-forgiveness is a vital part of self-love. When we forgive ourselves, we release the hold that guilt and shame have over us, allowing us to move forward with a sense of peace and understanding. To truly embrace self-love, we must also practice self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is the ability to fully embrace who you are, flaws and all. It means not hiding from your imperfections, but rather acknowledging them and loving yourself despite them. We all have areas where we struggle, whether it's in our appearance, our abilities, or our behavior. Many people spend their lives trying to change aspects of themselves that they perceive as flaws, believing that they are unworthy of love or happiness unless they are perfect. But self-acceptance tells us that we don't need to change who we are to be loved. We can accept ourselves fully as we are without the need for perfection. This doesn't mean that self-acceptance involves complacency or ignoring areas where we might want to grow or improve. Instead, it's about accepting ourselves as we are in this moment, while also recognizing that growth and change are a natural part of life. We can love and accept ourselves while still striving for progress. Self-acceptance involves letting go of the need for perfection and embracing our humanity, our strengths, weaknesses, successes, and failures. Another important element of self-love is setting healthy boundaries. People who practice self-love understand that their time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and they set boundaries to protect them. Setting boundaries means knowing when to say no, when to prioritize your own needs, and when to walk away from situations or people that drain you. It's about recognizing that your well-being is important and that you are not obligated to give your time, energy, or love to anyone or anything that isn't supportive or nurturing to you. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It is not selfish to protect your peace. It is essential for maintaining your mental, emotional, and physical health. People who have learned to love themselves know that they deserve to be treated with respect, and they are not afraid to assert themselves when necessary. By setting boundaries, you demonstrate that you value yourself and are not willing to tolerate mistreatment or exploitation. This is an important part of self-love because it reflects a deep understanding that you are worthy of love, respect, and care. Self-love also requires a commitment to self-care. Self-care is the practice of taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It is about recognizing that you deserve to feel good, to be healthy, and to take time for yourself. Many people prioritize the needs of others above their own, neglecting their own well-being in the process. But self-love teaches us that we must take care of ourselves in order to be able to give to others. When we practice self-care, we refill our own cup so that we can pour into the lives of those around us. Self-care can take many forms, from taking a walk in nature, to reading a good book, to getting enough sleep, or to practicing mindfulness and relaxation. The important thing is that we make time to nurture ourselves because self-care is a reflection of how much we value and love ourselves. In addition to all these practices, self-love involves a deep and consistent commitment to self-awareness. It's about being honest with yourself, recognizing your needs and acknowledging your desires, your dreams, and your fears. Self-awareness is the foundation of self-love because it allows you to understand who you are at your core, to know what you need to feel fulfilled, and to recognize the patterns and beliefs that may be limiting your growth. When you are self-aware, you can make choices that align with your true values and desires, and you can avoid living inauthentically or in a way that doesn't serve you. Self-awareness leads to greater self-acceptance because it helps you understand your own worth and to stop comparing yourself to others. When you know yourself fully, you can love yourself more deeply. It's also essential to recognize that self-love is a lifelong journey. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's not a destination to be reached. It's an ongoing practice, one that requires patience, commitment, and consistency. There will be times when you struggle with self-acceptance or self-compassion, and that's okay. The key is to keep practicing, to keep showing up for yourself, and to keep choosing love over judgment. Self-love is not about being perfect. It's about accepting yourself fully, flaws and all, and understanding that you are worthy of love and respect simply because you exist. When you love yourself, you create a deep sense of peace and fulfillment that doesn't depend on anyone or anything else. You learn to set boundaries, to prioritize your well-being, and to embrace your uniqueness. Through self-love, you give yourself the freedom to be yourself without apology, to honor your journey, and to cultivate a life that is aligned with your true desires and values. Self-love is the key to a fulfilling, joyful life, and when you fully embrace it, you open the door to a life of limitless potential. Self-discovery is a journey that is often long, winding, and full of challenges. It's a process that requires introspection, courage, and a willingness to let go of the comfortable and familiar in order to embrace the unknown. This journey is deeply personal, as it's about discovering who we are at our core, understanding what truly matters to us, and aligning our lives with our authentic selves. It's a path that takes us beyond the surface level of daily existence and into the depths of our inner being. The process of self-discovery is not always easy, but it is a necessary step for anyone who wants to live a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, and true to themselves. At the heart of self-discovery is the question, who am I? This question is the foundation of the entire journey. It forces us to confront our beliefs, our values, our fears, and our desires. Many of us go through life without ever truly questioning who we are or why we do the things we do. We may have learned to live according to society's expectations, the desires of our families, or the pressures of our peers, without ever pausing to ask whether those expectations align with our own inner truth. Self-discovery, however, requires us to step outside of the roles that others have assigned us and start exploring our own identity. It asks us to examine the beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world around us and to discern which ones serve us and which ones limit us. The journey of self-discovery often begins with a sense of dissatisfaction or longing. You may feel that there is something missing in your life, a sense that you are not fully living in alignment with your true self. This sense of unease can be a powerful catalyst for change as it pushes you to seek something deeper and more meaningful. The discomfort that comes with this feeling is not something to be avoided. It is a sign that your soul is calling you to explore, to grow, and to evolve. This discomfort is the invitation to begin the process of self-discovery. It tells you that you are ready to venture beyond the familiar and step into the unknown. One of the key elements of self-discovery is learning to trust yourself. Throughout our lives, we are often taught to look outside of ourselves for answers. We rely on the opinions of others, societal norms, and external measures of success to guide us. However, self-discovery asks us to turn inward and trust our own intuition. It encourages us to listen to the whispers of our hearts and the quiet nudges of our soul. This is not always easy, as we may have been conditioned to doubt ourselves or seek approval from others. But learning to trust ourselves is a vital step in the journey, as it empowers us to make decisions that are aligned with our true desires rather than conforming to external expectations. As you begin to explore who you are, you will inevitably encounter parts of yourself that you may not like or that you have buried deep within. These may be aspects of your personality, your past, or your emotions that you have been avoiding or suppressing. The process of self-discovery requires you to face these hidden parts of yourself, not with judgment, but with compassion and understanding. It's important to recognize that every part of you, even the parts that you may consider flawed or broken, are valuable pieces of your story. They are part of what makes you unique, and they have much to teach you. Instead of rejecting these aspects of yourself, try to approach them with curiosity. What are they trying to teach you? What do they reveal about your past experiences, your fears, and your desires? By embracing all aspects of yourself, you can begin to integrate these parts into your sense of self, rather than leaving them as disconnected pieces. The journey of self-discovery is also about exploring your passions, interests, and desires. As children, many of us are encouraged to dream and to explore our interests freely. However, as we grow older, we may lose touch with those passions in favor of pursuing more practical goals or conforming to societal expectations. Self-discovery invites you to reconnect with the things that truly light you up, the activities and pursuits that bring you joy and fulfillment. It's about revisiting your dreams and asking yourself what you truly want out of life. What activities make you feel most alive? What causes ignite your passion? What would you do if there were no limitations? These are the questions that can help you uncover the path to your authentic self. In the process of rediscovering your passions, you may also uncover new talents and strengths that you never knew existed. Self-discovery often reveals hidden potential, as it encourages you to step out of your comfort zone and try new things. As you challenge yourself to take risks and pursue what excites you, you may discover a sense of confidence and capability that you never imagined. These moments of discovery can be transformative, as they give you the courage to keep exploring and to continue growing. Embracing the journey of self-discovery means being open to the possibility of transformation, even if it means stepping into the unknown. Another key aspect of self-discovery is learning to let go of limiting beliefs. Throughout our lives, we accumulate beliefs about who we are and what we are capable of. These beliefs are often formed based on our past experiences, the opinions of others, or the expectations placed upon us. However, many of these beliefs may not be true, and they can hold us back from fully embracing our potential. Self-discovery encourages us to examine these beliefs and to challenge them. Are they based on truth, or are they simply stories we have told ourselves? Are they serving us, or are they limiting us? By questioning these beliefs, we can begin to release them and replace them with more empowering thoughts and perspectives. This process of letting go can be liberating, as it allows us to step into a new version of ourselves, one that is free from the constraints of past conditioning. The journey of self-discovery also involves learning to live authentically. Many of us spend much of our lives wearing masks or trying to fit into roles that are not true to who we really are. We may feel pressure to conform to societal expectations, to please others, or to be someone we are not in order to gain approval or acceptance. However, living authentically means shedding these false identities and embracing the truth of who we are. It means being unapologetic about our uniqueness and expressing ourselves freely without fear of judgment. Living authentically requires courage, as it means standing up for our truth even when it is uncomfortable or unpopular. It means choosing to live a life that aligns with our values, desires, and passions, rather than living according to the expectations of others. As you continue on your journey of self-discovery, you may encounter moments of uncertainty or doubt. The process of discovering who you truly are is not always linear, and it can be filled with twists and turns. There may be times when you question your choices, your path, or your ability to navigate the challenges ahead. However, it's important to remember that uncertainty is a natural part of the journey. It is through uncertainty that we learn and grow. Every step, even the missteps, brings us closer to the person we are meant to become. Trusting the process, even when it feels difficult or unclear, is an essential part of the journey. Self-discovery is not a destination, but a lifelong process. It's about continually evolving, learning, and growing. As we go through life, we change and transform, and so does our understanding of who we are. The journey of self-discovery is ongoing as it involves continually peeling back the layers of our identity to uncover new truths about ourselves. It's about being open to change, embracing growth, and continually seeking to become the best version of ourselves. Ultimately, the journey of self-discovery is about embracing the full spectrum of who we are. It's about learning to love and accept ourselves, flaws and all, and allowing ourselves the freedom to evolve. It's about trusting ourselves, following our passions, and living authentically. This journey is not always easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. Through self-discovery, we uncover the truth of who we are and step into our fullest potential. It is a journey that requires patience, courage, and a willingness to embrace both the light and the dark parts of ourselves. But it is also a journey that holds the promise of profound transformation, deep fulfillment, and a life that is truly our own. Resilience and emotional balance are two essential qualities that play a significant role in navigating the ups and downs of life. Life is inherently unpredictable, filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of uncertainty. How we respond to these challenges, whether with strength, adaptability, or emotional stability, can greatly impact the quality of our lives. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, while emotional balance is the capacity to maintain a sense of stability and composure, even when faced with overwhelming emotions or difficult situations. Together, these two qualities empower us to manage stress, cope with loss, endure hardship, and thrive in the face of adversity. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulty or escaping hardship. Rather, it is about developing the mental, emotional, and psychological fortitude to overcome challenges. It involves a mindset that embraces setbacks as opportunities for growth, rather than viewing them as insurmountable obstacles. Resilience allows individuals to adapt to change, persevere in the face of adversity, and recover from setbacks more effectively. It is an internal strength that enables people to face difficult circumstances with courage and determination, knowing that they have the ability to overcome whatever life throws their way. One of the most important aspects of resilience is the ability to reframe adversity. People who are resilient tend to view challenges not as permanent, but as temporary obstacles that can be overcome. They recognize that while painful or difficult situations may arise, they will not last forever. Instead of seeing themselves as victims of circumstances, resilient individuals understand that they have the power to shape their responses and take action to improve their situation. This mindset is essential in building resilience because it helps individuals maintain hope and motivation, even in the darkest of times. Another key factor in resilience is the ability to accept and learn from failure. Failure is an inevitable part of life, and yet many people fear it or avoid it at all costs. Resilient individuals, on the other hand, view failure as a natural and necessary part of growth. They understand that failure is not a reflection of their worth, but rather a stepping stone on the path to success. By embracing failure as a learning opportunity, resilient individuals are able to bounce back from setbacks more quickly and with greater clarity. They are not deterred by mistakes or disappointments, but instead use these experiences to fuel their personal development and strengthen their resolve. In addition to reframing adversity and learning from failure, resilience is also closely tied to a sense of purpose. People who have a clear sense of purpose or meaning in their lives are often more resilient in the face of challenges. Having a sense of purpose provides direction and motivation, helping individuals to stay focused on their long-term goals, even in the face of short-term difficulties. It also provides a source of inner strength, as individuals are more likely to persevere through difficult times if they feel that their efforts are contributing to something greater than themselves. Whether it's a passion for a particular career, a commitment to family, or a deep connection to a cause, having a sense of purpose can help individuals remain resilient, even when the going gets tough. Resilience is also strengthened by social support. While resilience is often viewed as an individual quality, It is also influenced by the relationships we have with others. Having a support system of friends, family, or mentors can make a significant difference in our ability to cope with stress and overcome adversity. Social support provides emotional validation, encouragement, and practical assistance, which can help individuals navigate difficult situations with greater ease. Resilient people tend to surround themselves with positive, supportive individuals who uplift them during times of hardship. They understand that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but a source of strength that can enhance their ability to recover and grow. While resilience helps us recover from setbacks, emotional balance helps us maintain stability during turbulent times. Emotional balance is the ability to regulate our emotions and maintain a sense of equilibrium, even in the face of stress, anxiety, or difficult circumstances. It involves the ability to acknowledge and experience emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Emotional balance is not about suppressing or denying our feelings, but rather about allowing ourselves to feel what we need to feel, while still maintaining control over our reactions and behavior. One of the most important components of emotional balance is emotional awareness. In order to manage our emotions effectively, we must first be aware of them. Emotional awareness involves paying attention to how we are feeling in any given moment, as well as understanding the underlying causes of those emotions. By developing emotional awareness, we can gain insight into our emotional triggers and patterns, which allows us to respond to our emotions in a more thoughtful and intentional way. Instead of reacting impulsively to strong emotions, emotional awareness helps us to pause, reflect, and choose how we want to respond. Emotional balance also requires emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the ability to manage our emotional responses in a way that is appropriate and constructive. This can involve techniques such as deep breathing, mindfulness, or reframing negative thoughts. Emotional regulation helps prevent us from being overwhelmed by intense emotions such as anger, sadness, or fear, and allows us to respond to situations with greater calmness and clarity. It is an essential skill in maintaining emotional balance, especially in high-stress situations. By learning to regulate our emotions, we can avoid reacting impulsively or in ways that may harm ourselves or others. In addition to emotional regulation, emotional balance also involves setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries are the limits we set for ourselves in terms of how we allow others to treat us and how we manage our time, energy, and resources. Setting boundaries is an important aspect of emotional balance because it helps prevent emotional burnout, resentment, or feelings of being overwhelmed. When we set boundaries, we are able to protect our emotional well-being and maintain a sense of balance in our lives. This can involve saying no to activities or relationships that drain us, as well as prioritizing self-care and personal time. By setting and maintaining healthy boundaries, we ensure that we are able to nurture ourselves emotionally and avoid becoming overwhelmed by external demands. Another important aspect of emotional balance is self-compassion. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with kindness, understanding, and patience, especially during times of difficulty or struggle. When we are emotionally balanced, we are able to acknowledge our flaws and mistakes without harsh judgment. And we are able to offer ourselves the same empathy and care that we would offer a friend. Self-compassion helps to reduce feelings of shame, guilt, or self-criticism, and allows us to approach difficult emotions with greater acceptance and understanding. It encourages us to be gentle with ourselves even when things aren't going well, and to recognize that we are deserving of love and care, regardless of our circumstances. Both resilience and emotional balance are essential for leading a healthy, fulfilling life. While resilience helps us recover from setbacks and face adversity with strength, emotional balance allows us to navigate our emotions with clarity and composure. Together, these qualities provide the foundation for emotional well-being and personal growth. Cultivating resilience and emotional balance requires practice, patience, and self-awareness. It involves developing the skills to regulate our emotions, reframe adversity, learn from failure, and seek support when needed. It also involves recognizing that challenges and difficult emotions are a natural part of life, and that we have the capacity to overcome them with grace and perseverance. When we embrace resilience and emotional balance, we are better equipped to handle whatever life throws our way and can move forward with confidence, strength, and peace of mind.